Dividing polynomials is your next section. Here is an example. The problem is the quantity of negative 3 plus 4x squared minus 6x divided by the quantity of x plus 3. The first thing you need to do is to write it as a long division problem. And the way you do that is the following. Start with x plus 3. And you will divide that into this quantity. But you must make sure it's in descending powers of x. So you would start with 4x squared, and then minus 6x, and then minus 3. Put it in order from left to right of descending powers of x in a long division form. What you're dividing by goes outside the brackets. What you're dividing goes inside the brackets. Your first step is to figure out what you would have to multiply this x by to get 4x squared. I would have to multiply x by 4x in order to get 4x squared. Then I go back and multiply each of these items by that 4x and put the result here. So 4x times x is 4x squared. And then 4x times 3 is 12x. And just as any long division problem from years ago, you draw the line and you would have to subtract. 4x squared minus 4x squared cancels out just as it should. But then you have negative 6x minus 12x, which is a negative 18x, and then you drop the next term and the sign in front of it. Now, what would I have to multiply this x by to get negative 18x? That would be a negative 18. Write it up here, and then multiply both of these items here by that negative 18. When I do that, I get negative 18x minus 54. Subtract, cancel, and negative 3 minus a negative 54 is a positive 51. There's nothing more to drop, so we write our answer in the following form. 4x minus 18 plus 51 over what we were dividing by. The quantity of x squared minus 3x plus 4, close the quantity divided by the quantity of x plus 6. So write it like this. X plus 6 divided into this quantity, and make sure it's in descending powers of x when you put it in there. X squared minus 3x plus 4. Your first move is to figure out what I have to multiply this x by to get x squared. In other words, x squared divided by x is x. And I multiply each of these items by this x and put the result here. X times x is x squared, x times 6 is 6x. And then subtract. The x squares cancel out, and you're left with negative 3x minus 6x, which is a negative 9x. Drop the plus 4 from here. What would I have to multiply x by to get a negative 9x? And that is a negative 9. Multiply this negative 9 by x and 6. Put the result here. X, or a negative 9 times x is negative 9x, and negative 9 times 6 is negative 54. Subtract. Cancel. 4 minus a negative 54 is a positive 58. You will write your answer in the following form. X minus 9 plus 58 over x plus 6. the quantity of 3x to the third minus 4x squared minus 2x plus 6, close the quantity, divided by the quantity of x minus 3. You'll start off with x minus 3. And you will divide that into this quantity and make sure it's in descending powers of x when you write it under the division sign. So it is 3x to the third minus 4x squared minus 2x plus 6. And now you start by looking at the x and thinking, what do you have to multiply it by to get 3x to the third? In other words, 3x to the third divided by x is 3x squared. And you will multiply that 3x squared by each of these items here. 3x squared times x is 3x to the third. And then 3x squared times a negative 3 is negative 9x squared. Subtract. Cancel. Negative 4x squared minus a negative 9x squared is a positive 5x squared. And then minus 2x. Now, what would you have to multiply x by to get 5x squared? Or 5x squared divided by x is 5x. 5x multiplied by each of these terms here. 5x squared, or not 5x squared, but 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times a negative 3 is negative 15x. Subtract, cancel, and negative 2x minus a negative 15x is 13x. Drop the 6. What would I multiply x by to get 13x? That would be 13. So multiply 13 by each of these items here. 13 times x is 13x, and 13 times a negative 3 is a negative 39. Subtract, cancel. 6 minus a negative 39 is 45. Nothing left to drop, so our answer is 3x squared plus 5x plus 13 plus 45 over x minus 3. First, we're going to write x plus 2. And we will divide that into 5x squared plus 4x minus 6. What do I multiply x by to get 5x squared? That would be 5x. 5x times x and 5x times 2. Put the result here and subtract. So we get 5x squared plus 10x. Subtract. Cancel. 4 minus 10 is a negative 6, so negative 6x. Drop the minus 6. X times something is negative 6x. In other words, negative 6x divided by x is negative 6. Multiply negative 6 by x and by 2 to come up with negative 6x minus 12. Subtract. Cancel. Negative 6 minus a negative 12 is a positive 6. Our answer would be 5x minus 6 plus 6 over x plus 2. Let's divide x minus 4 into 2x to the third plus 4x squared minus 6x plus 7. Okay, first up, how many times will x go into 2x to the third? In other words, what is 2x to the third divided by x? and that would be 2x squared. Multiply 2x squared by x and by negative 4 to come up with 2x squared minus 8, or actually 2x to the third, I should say, minus 8x squared. Subtract, cancel. 4 minus a negative 8 is 12, so 12x squared, and drop the minus 6x. X times something is 12x squared. That something is 12x. 12x times x is 12x squared, and 12x times the negative 4 is negative 48. And that would give us a negative 48x. So subtract, cancel, and negative 6 minus a negative 48 is going to be a positive 42. So 42x. Drop the 7. So now we have to figure out what we're going to multiply x by to get 42x, and that would be 42. 42 times x is 42x, and 42 times a negative 4 is the same thing as 84 plus 84, which would be 168. In this case, it's negative. We have to subtract, cancel. 7 minus a negative 168 is a positive 175. So we're going to have for our final answer 2x squared plus 12x plus 42 plus 175 over x minus 4.